Okay, we're live.
We are live. Yay. That was fast. I was thinking that was going to take a little while because it took a little while to get here, but here we are. Welcome in, everybody. Good morning, bright ones. How are you? Beautiful, bountiful blessings. I've got my phone here. I'm going to find you here on our Facebook page where we go live every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm getting very familiar with that. Okay, where are we? I know we're here. Because I got the notification saying Brentwood Inspired Living Center is now live. So where are we? Where are you? We're going to find each other really soon. Here we go. Leave me a comment when you get here so that I can see your beautiful face and name on your Facebook profile. Here we are. I see us live on Facebook, I think. Let me know if you see us. Let me know if you see us and hear us, because I'm not sure. Okay, well, I'm going to keep checking on you. Welcome in, everybody. I am here in my new house, finally not in the Airbnb anymore, in South Carolina. It's been a wild adventure of all things unexpected, but that just keeps us in the flow. We get to stay in the flow and when we have unexpected circumstances show up. So here we are, and I am a grandma. That happened. It's profound. Baby Athena made her appearance the very morning that I was moving out of the Airbnb and into the house. So it was all perfectly wonderful. Full day. There we go. Okay, I see TJ. There's Pat. Thank you, Pat. She says, I'm here and I hear you. TJ's here. Nancy's here. She says, good morning. You sound and look beautiful. Yes, you are live. Thank you. Thank you. Robin is here. Good morning, Robin. Robin says, good morning from California. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we're rolling now. This is good. This is good news. I watched you all last week. It was so beautiful to see your faces, and Cindy and Heart Dream and everyone there. That was great. I love to be able to zoom in, Facebook in with you guys and watch from afar. Thank you for joining us in this field where we free ourselves of constraints and conditions and anything that limits our loving, limits our flowing. I'm deeply grateful to be sharing this space with you this morning. Thank you for choosing to step into this loving field. I'm sending you virtual hugs and kisses. Good morning, Karen. Karen says, good morning, everyone. Terry's here. Nice to see you, Terry. Pat says, yay, new home. Yes, and yes, Grandma, a lot going on in 1 week, let me tell you. a lot to handle, juggle. I felt like the juggler in the circus this week. Not to mention the moving truck got lost and all kinds of crazy things. But that just added to the excitement, you know. So good morning, everybody. So happy to be here with you. My name is Amy Van Ling, and it is with heartfelt gratitude that I serve this beloved community as spiritual director. Welcome into our sacred space where we are connecting in spirit, understanding all layers of ourselves, and we commit here to be the light of the world and radiate out the love. And we can do that by just having this energetic exchange over this field of consciousness, you know, over the internet, over Zoom, over phones. It's pretty amazing that we can tune into each soul in the collective and energetically embrace one another. So go ahead and pour it out, shower each other, shower the world in your love and radiance and joy. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you with us. We welcome all people into our caring and compassionate community. We are so grateful that you are here. Pat says, TJ, can hardly wait to hear what inspirations you have to share with us. Always grateful to hear your being. Yes, love Pat. Definitely. Agreed. David Miller says, good morning with sunshine and smiles, Amy and all. Good morning, David. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome in. Our theme this month is cultivating courage. Okay, so I heard a joke and I think it's worthy of sharing. Okay, and I'm not the best joke teller, but hopefully I get this one right. One day, 3 generals met for dinner and drinks, and they were throwing around all their egos in their bragging match, you know, like the big shot army guys might do. And one general said, you know, my battalion, they're the most courageous. And the other two generals shook their head like, yeah. And he said, watch this. And he called over one of his men, and they were on a mountain peak, and there was another one across the canyon. And he said to his battalion soldier, go jump from this peak to that peak. Even though it was totally impossible request, the general said, just do it, just do your best, run and jump. And the soldier did, and he fell into the canyon and perished. And the first general, he said to the other two, see, that's courage. And then the second general said, that's nothing. Now you watch my men. And he called one of his men over and said to the sergeant, there's a minefield, go dance in the minefield. And this sergeant went and danced in the minefield, and he didn't last a single minute. And the second general said, see, that's courage. He's the one who set that minefield up. That's courage. He went anyway. And the third general was, sipping his drink silently over there. And so the two first generals like, what about you? What do you have to say? And he says, oh, I know my men are the most courageous. We don't need to prove anything. And they said, no, that's empty talk, won't do. So the third general called his soldier over and said, you see that river, and there's 100 feet away, there's a waterfall. Now go and you head across that river and swim across it before the waterfall's fury, grabs you into the waterfall. And the soldier put his hands on his hips and said, are you crazy? I think you've been drinking way too much whiskey. I am not doing anything stupid like that. And the general says, now that is real courage to stand up and say no to the general. And I thought, there's a pretty profound message in that joke. The courage to, stand for your truth and speak even if you're afraid, and so I thought that was kind of funny, and hopefully you did too. Let me check in with you guys. Oh, hi, Paris. Paris says, what a beautiful day. So glad to be with our blessed community. Yes, agreed. I feel the same. Remember that this coming Saturday is our concert. It's going to be at Veterans Park. Since the warmer weather has come around again, we're going to move back outside to Veterans Park. The community circle is at 11, and the concert begins at 12 to 1:30. So everybody gather there for our community connection and have so much fun. Good morning, Luinda. She says, good morning. Luinda is always posting beautiful flower arrangements on her Facebook. Thank you. I appreciate all that beauty you share out to the world through your flowers. She makes it look really easy. I don't know if you've ever tried to make a flower arrangement, but it looks a lot easier than it actually is. She makes it look so easy. Nancy says, great joke, Amy. Courage to stand up. I laughed. I thought it was funny. Sometimes I have to question, though, because I don't always think everything is funny that other people think is funny. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Christy, hi. So glad you're here. Nice to see you. Welcome in, everybody. We love that you're gathering here with us. It is with tremendous love and gratitude that we welcome back our beloved friend and conscious being, TJ Woodward, today. Thank you. TJ's message is the courage of curiosity. I love that. I really love that little spin on our theme of courage this month. Very nice. We appreciate that. If you have questions, comments, suggestions, thoughts during TJ's talk, drop them in the comment feed and we will get to them when he concludes, and we'll have a little Q&A there afterward. And then there's a workshop from 11:30 to 12:30 on our workshop link, which is on our homepage, brentwoodilc.org. The audacity of oneness. I love that. I love it because it takes a little audacity to say, regardless of the world of appearances, regardless of what's going on, we're one. Yeah, some people are like, I don't know about that. So that's great. Perfect. Thank you, TJ, for being with us and sharing your heart, your soul, your consciousness. We are grateful. So very grateful for you. And don't forget again that there's a workshop, and our workshops are always open to everybody. So invite anybody you think of. We're not having some small exclusive group here. We are wide open. So feel free to share out our link and invite anybody that you think would like to be participating in such an amazing transformational workshop today. So thank you. It is a special treat, always a joyful day when Kalyani Marsh is with us, sharing her vibration and her soul stirring music. We're so grateful for your presence and your willingness to share with us, Kalyani. Thank you for zooming in today. And our beloved Jan is here to share our inspirational reading, our prayer of plenitude. Jan, thank you for sharing you with us. We appreciate you, all that you do and be for this community. We love you, love you, love you. Thank you all, TJ, Kalyani, Jan, for choosing to spend your Sunday morning with us, energizing love and truth and joy, joy to the world. We're so blessed to have you here, and we are so blessed and thankful to have each one of you, beloveds, tuning in with us online, for committing your time and energy to co-creating this heart space, this space of where we attune into the spirit and take an in-breath of the spirit, inspiration. Thank you for tuning in and within. Hello. Oh, my eyes. Sometimes they just get blurry all of a sudden, and it just takes me a minute to adjust. Jennifer's here. She says, love, light, and blessings to all. Christy is here. She says, good morning, all. Fantastic to see you. Hi, John. John is here. Welcome in, everybody. Love, 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 and blessings to you. We are going to get started and open up with our mission statement. So I invite you to tune in and allow yourself to drop into that space, that centered space, that heart space, your inner knowing, and feel into our mission statement with me. We are an open, heart-centered spiritual community, honoring the one presence within us. We welcome all to connect, grow, and expand in wisdom, compassion, and love. Thank you for participating with us in this mission. I am going to hand the screen over to Kalyani this morning for our community sing-along. Remember, singing is a quick way to connect to your heart space. It's a quick way to get into a high vibration. So sing along. I'm going to drop the lyrics in the feed right now so that you can sing along with us.
Well, good morning. That'd be great if you could get the words up there. It's kind of fun. Tom and I just had felt sort of playful with this one, just because everybody knows this song, Follow the Yellow Brick Road, and we thought, and then we thought, follow the yeses and trust, follow the yeses and trust, follow, 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 follow the yeses and trust. If ever there was a time to trust, this is the time to trust, because, what did I put? It brings me peace inside my heart to know unconditional love. So I was just kind of hoping that the words would get up there at some point, but you can practice with follow the yeses and trust. Follow the yeses and trust. Follow, 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 follow the yeses and trust. If ever there was a time to trust, this is the time to trust, because it brings me peace inside my heart to know unconditional love. Should we do that again? And then I'm just going to keep going. Follow the yeses and trust. Follow the yeses and trust. Follow, 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 follow the yeses and trust. If ever there was a time to trust, this is the time to trust, because it brings me peace inside my heart to know unconditional love. So I'm off to find the yeses, the wonderful yeses of life. Follow the yeses and trust. Follow the yeses and trust. How are we doing with the words? Is it gonna happen? It's gonna happen. Okay. Just go to the next. Oh, it's up there? Okay, sorry. Follow the yeses and trust. Follow the yeses and trust. Follow, 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 follow the yeses and trust. If ever there was a time to trust, this is the time to trust, because it brings me peace inside my heart to know the truth of myself. So I'm off off to find the yeses that point me back to myself. Follow the yeses and trust. Follow the yeses and trust. Follow, 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 follow the yeses and trust. If ever there was the time to trust, this is the time to trust, because it brings me peace inside my heart to know the truth of myself with unconditional love. So I'm off to be my true self, the beautiful light that I am, with unconditional love, with peace inside my heart. Follow the yeses and trust. Follow the heart and trust. Follow the heart and trust yourself. Follow the yeses and trust.
Woo, that was beautiful. I love it.
Fun?
Now we know it's going to be playing in our mind for the rest of the day.
It's unfortunately
It's an easy
kind
one.
of a good mantra. Kind of a good mantra to have.
Beautiful.
So good morning with that.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Pat says, delightful song. Yes, indeed. That was fun. It was fun, delightful, and fun and lighthearted.
Felt playful.
Playful.
Felt playful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Playful. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to us. Okay, I'm going to hand the screen over to Jan now for our inspirational reading this morning. Thank you, Jan.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. Kalyani, that was just wonderful. I was thinking that could be the end of the movie with Dorothy. I could just see it happening. That's wonderful. Anyway, I loved it. What a great way to start. So the inspirational reading is today around the theme Cultivating Courage, which, as Amy mentioned, is our theme for April. And so from Nina Leibowitz, not Leibowitz, Mary Beth Salmon, the authors of What Would You Do If You Knew You Could Not Fail? How to Transform Fear into Courage. Here's an excerpt from their discussion about their book. In researching this book and going to the front lines of who seems to be living boldly in this uncertain times, we observed that most of the people we interviewed shared one collective quality. Most insisted, I'm not courageous. In fact, they said they felt afraid. But here's the key that separates those who take action in the face of their fears and those who stay frozen. Courageous people feel their fear but take action anyway. Courageous people admit to being afraid, but they deal with their fears and they stand up to them. Experts say the ability to tap into our courage is one of the most important qualities for success. And they say it is possible to teach ourselves to boost our courage quotient. Courageous people pay attention to the tiny little engine that could voice inside them that says, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, even when they are trembling in fear. The goal is not to eliminate fear, but to be able to transform it so that you can live fully in spite of it. If we can learn how to relax and reach deep within, we will find creativity, hope, and opportunities in our challenges. Here are 10 courage rituals you can do when you are so scared that you question your ability to keep going. First of all, think about being courageous for just this one moment, and then create your very own courage ritual. It might be create a safe space or an inner retreat in your imagination and go there in your mind, and or extend loving support to yourself as you would to a good friend by looking in the mirror and repeating, I love you. Or listen to soothing music. Or visualize yourself as a flower or a plant and imagine yourself getting nourished and baking in the sun. Or turn negative thoughts into positive ones and imagine a brand new ending to your usual worries. Or cultivate an attitude of gratitude by giving thanks for your blessings. Or reach out to a trusted friend and ask to be nurtured. Or imagine yourself strong, visualize yourself as a superhero or any other strong image. Or practice yoga stretches. And, or my favorite, consider adopting a pet. So we invite you to create your own courage ritual. And so it is.
I love that. A courage ritual.
I know.
It might have been the first time I've heard that.
I know, me too, me too.
Thank you, Jan. I appreciate that. Appreciate you. Okay, I'm going to hand the screen back over to Kalyani for our next song this morning.
Okay, well, for me now is trust. I think that's an aspect of courage. Yeah. So here's another song. I just was working it again, and it was a really good medicine for me. It's called Trusting Self. And here we go. A new beginning. I want to move forward with trust in place. Did I abandon me? I was frozen in sorrow, fell out of grace. Now I'm listening to my heart. I choose to open now to the trust that I thought I'd lost. Is there a message for me? Something I never could hear before. In my innocence, I didn't know that I closed that door. With faith in the everlasting arms that are guiding me to trust my vision, the vision for my highest good. I tried to do it alone. I had anger in my heart. Now I see that I was mistaken. Now I'm listening to my heart, trusting the love, all the love that I thought I'd lost. Love is eternal, and love is radiant, and love is expanding my perception. And as I walk through appearances of darkness, I shall fear not. I'm trusting myself. Trusting myself, tuning in to the presence within. Faith in the everlasting arms that are guiding me to trust my vision, the vision for my highest joy. I cannot do it alone, so I'm reaching in. Yes, I choose to be here. Love is eternal, and love is radiant, and love is expanding my perception. And as I walk through appearances of darkness, I shall fear not. I'm trusting myself. Ooh, trusting myself. Trusting myself. Ooh, trusting myself.
So beautiful.
Still
And
working on the ending there.
it's beautiful. It's,
Thank you.
yeah, very tuned into that one. Thank you. And it
Awesome.
takes
Thank
courage
you.
to trust ourselves, right? Especially sometimes if the world is kind of going a different direction, to really tune in and
Yeah, we
trust
think we
ourselves.
need this external validation all the
Right.
time, and so this is always pointing back, pointing back, pointing back to
Yeah.
what is my vision? What, the song is very helpful for um, tuning in for sure.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely feel that. Thank you. It was perfect. Perfect for our theme. Perfect, that went along with what Dan was sharing too. I love how everything always just clicks in like puzzle pieces on Sunday morning. It's like, oh yeah, we planned all that
It's
exactly.
beyond me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, Jan, I'm going to hand the screen over to you for our blessing of abundance right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalyani. That was absolutely beautiful. And like Amy said, so perfect.
you.
The whole concept of trusting as a part of being courageous. So I loved it. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, this is our time to really connect and trust in ourselves and our abundance and our plenitude and our prosperity. So I invite you now to join me for our prayer of plenitude as we go within. And so I want you to be receiving this. So let's take a deep breath and love and light. Bring that breath into your heart and hold it gently. And now release it slowly. And connect through your heart and listen to my words as we affirm our prosperity. We come together today, opening our hearts and our minds with the one spirit, the light, the infinite mind, knowing that there's only one power and one presence in our life. And that is the life of spirit within us. We affirm that we are one with the spirit and that there is no one, nothing that is separate from this oneness. We are one with this infinite mind that has created all that is. We know that the divine qualities of peace and of power and of plenty and of wisdom are already within us, each one of us, and we embrace those qualities now. And we step forward. We step forward with love, with anticipation, standing in the truth of what we are, and we say yes. We say yes to prosperity. We say yes to harmony, to health, to order, to love, and to our amazing expansion in all ways, in every form. And with the greatest gratitude, we accept this transformation of our consciousness for ourselves and for our community. And we know that it is done. And we give thanks. And so now we release it. We let spirit do its perfect work through us. We trust the universe to provide for us. It is done, and it is so. And now we need to just take a minute to announce it, make a few announcements. It was wonderful last week to see in our second in-person Sunday service at the Center, Antioch Community Center in the West Island Room, to see so many of you there. I was there for just a short time and then I didn't feel so great. So I took the opportunity to go back home and watch you on Facebook Live. I know we had a few challenges, but we'll get them worked out eventually. And just remember to, like Amy said, to mark your calendars for next Saturday, because we're going to be in the park for April 16th. We'll be in the park, and then in May we'll be in the third week. We'll be in the park, and then June we'll be in the park. So we're back in the Antioch, or not Antioch, Veterans Park in Brentwood, in the same space as last time. 11 o'clock for the community circle, 12 o'clock to 1:30 for the 360 band, And we want you to bring your friends. We want you to bring your family. We want you to bring your pets, everybody. And we have a suggested love offering of $25. And we know, you know, everyone is included. So just come. And also the last thing that I want to say is that everything is on our website. So just go to our website. Our book clubs are up and running. We have discussion group, a couple of discussion groups. Check out everything on our website, BrentwoodInspiredLiving.org. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Jan. It's always a good reminder that if you forget anything, just head over to the website, and there it is, BrentwoodILC.org, and it's all at your fingertips. We're pretty good about keeping it up to date too. So, okay, I'm going to hand the screen back over to Kalyani for our last and final song this morning. Thank you, Kalyani, for being so beautifully wonderful for us this morning.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm always thrilled to be part of your center. Looking forward to maybe live at some point, you know, in person. That'd be great. Maybe not with you, Amy, but can you hear me? Because I don't hear anything. I don't hear people talking. Are you talking? Say something.
I've muted. We're muted.
Oh, okay. That's right.
But we can hear you.
Okay. This is a tune I wrote back in 2008 when I was still in Hawaii and I was just about to leave to come here, and I was reading a lot of The Way of Mastery, and this song kind of called me back to it. Holy Child of God. Let's see. Hang on. I don't have memorized anymore. Okay, here we go. It's still part of trust and courage, I believe. I am taking the path of I don't know, opening to universal flow. I don't know what it looks like, what's showing up will open me to unconditional love. I am the holy child of God awakening. I reach deep inside for the love I need. There is so much help seen and unseen. May we stand in grace with a heart that's free to clear away all but the love in me and you and you. I am the holy child of God awakening, the sacred child of God. I am the holy child of God awakening, the sacred daughter of God. When my mind is free, I know that I'm the gift that I was made to be. I dive into the love that washes everything clean. I am the holy child of God awakening, the sacred child of God. I am the holy child of God awakening. You choose right for you, I choose right for me. Acceptance for all eternity. I can see action everywhere I go. It always comes back to this truth that I know. I am the holy child of God awakening, the sacred child of God. And may I perceive all is possible when love strengthens me into perfect freedom. Love leads so gladly. I am the holy child of God awakening, the sacred child of God. I am the holy child of God awakening, the sacred daughter of God. nothing can come in between us. This sacred child and God, this sacred child and God within, this sacred child and God.
So
For the
beautiful.
babies, for us babies, for the little babies.
Thank you. Thank you for you. We appreciate you so much. Thank you both, Jan and
Thanks,
Kalyani. Thank you
everyone.
for all of the loving reminders this morning. So many beautiful reminders for us. Thank you for sharing yourselves and opening up your hearts to share with everybody here with us on the screen and everybody that tunes in live.
Love
Thank
to
you.
be here.
Yeah, we love when you're here.
I'm
Thank you
looking
both.
forward to the talk and
Grateful
absorbing
for
that
you.
as well. So,
Yeah.
Appreciate you so
everybody.
much.
Thanks, everybody.
Mwah. Love you all.
Bye.
Okay, everybody, I see you here with us. Welcome, welcome in. Anybody else who's just joining us? We have TJ. TJ brings so much to the world on every platform that he shows up. And he shows up on a lot of platforms. And so grateful for the consciousness, the presence that you are, and grateful when you're particularly with Brentwood Inspired Living Center. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to read TJ's bio for those of you who don't know him. I think, TJ is like, he pioneered the community with us, basically. So most of us know him, but sometimes we have folks tuning in during the week and you might not. And so it is important to know what a wonderful person TJ is. He is the best-selling author, inspirational speaker, and revolutionary recovery expert who has helped countless people through his simple yet powerful teachings. He was given the honor of being ordained as an Agape minister by Dr. Michael Beckwith and is also the founding minister of Agape Bay Area in Oakland, which was the first satellite community of the Agape International Spiritual Center in LA. TJ is a featured thought leader on wholehearted.org, along with Brene Brown, Marianne Williamson, Dr. Gabor Mate, and Mark Lundholm. He is also the creator of the Conscious Recovery Method, which is a groundbreaking and effective approach to viewing and treating addiction. TJ is the author of the best-selling books Conscious Being, Awakening to Your True Nature, Conscious Recovery, A Fresh Perspective on Addiction, and Conscious Creation, 5 Steps to Embracing the Life of Your Dreams, as well as co-author of their accompanying workbooks. Amazing that all of these books have an incredible workbook too. Phenomenal stuff going on here. Thank you, TJ, for being with us today. We are grateful, so appreciative. Just remember that I was tuning in when Dan was talking about, abundance. That is our birthright. And it's really about appreciating everything. I started thinking about all these crazy unfoldments during my move, and in everything that seemed to go a way that I didn't expect, I would look for what I could appreciate, what came out of it. And there's always something to appreciate. So thank you, TJ. We appreciate so much about you and everything you bring to us. I invite everybody into this moment of prayer where we can loosen up and tune in and follow our hearts to our center. We are so thankful and grateful that we get to choose peace, that we get to choose to make love, joy, peace our priority. Taking a deep breath of life, we can be in the flow of oneness. We can align with divine mind. We are so thankful and we bless TJ today. We are so full of gratitude and we open our hearts to courage, to curiosity, to exploration. We open ourselves up to the divine message that was meant for us today. I release this word for the benefit of all. in love, for love, and as love. And so it is. Blessings, everybody. Handing the screen over to TJ.
Thank you so much, Amy. I'm so incredibly grateful to be here with this community and thinking about our history. And I think it's been 5 years. 5 years ago, I'm guessing. I'm not always the best reporter of time in this, what we call reality, which of course we understand isn't really reality, but this illusion of time, I think it's been 5 years. I'm going to guess that. 6 years? Amy just counted to 6. So we're going to say it's 6. What is the courage of curiosity? I have been actually curious about the title for the last 24 hours. Just to be really transparent with you, I often create a title and then leave it. I don't really do a lot of planning, but usually the evening before, I will look at the title and start to reflect on it. And a lot emerged for me. And one of the things that emerged this morning, as I was listening to the music and the reading and Amy's joke, the synchronicity of all of these messages lead us to this profound knowing of this moment. And what is appearing for me to speak to before I even start talking about courage and curiosity is that anything that I say is actually a reminder of the truth that is within each and every one of us. And I love, Amy, that you framed, thank you for the reminders, because at first, when I first started speaking, I was actually, I think I shared this the last time I spoke, I was a little, my ego was offended when someone said, thank you for the reminder, because I thought I was supposed to say something new and profound. And then I came to understand that that's really what we're doing here. We are reminding each other of the great reality that is deep within each and every one of us, that there isn't really a new thought in new thought. There is a great remembering of reality, and we touch that reality. And we have a spiritual center and a spiritual center. Recently, someone introduced me as a spiritual influencer. And at first I was like, oh, what does that mean? And then I started really reflecting on that is our divine calling. Each and every one of us is an influencer. And we are literally influencing collective consciousness with every single thought and every single action. And that, if you hear that and think, ooh, that seems like a tall order, it is in some ways. And in other ways, it's profoundly simple because it's innately who and what we are. We talk a lot about our carbon footprint and wanting to reduce our carbon footprint. And what I'm inviting is that we also, in the midst of that, want to increase our spiritual footprint. And as we influence the field of consciousness, we actually create more love and more harmony in the world. And for those of us who have been in New Thought, ancient wisdom teachings, we understand very deeply that who we be is so much more powerful than anything we say or even what we think. I was part of a community early in my path in New Thought that would, if anyone said anything that was perceived to be negative, they would say, oh, cancel, don't say that because the universe will get you. I mean, it was really this idea that if I said anything, there would be an instant karmic response from the universe. And at that time in my evolution, it was important for me because I was unaware of how many things I was saying that were creating the experiences of my life. And let's put it this way, that were less than desirable, less than desirable. And I was very busy and very active having a conversation with myself and the universe about the reason that my life wasn't working, the reason I could not connect with people, the reason that I could not be abundant. And I'm reminded of the quote, argue for your limitations and surely they will be yours. And that was an early quote for me that really made me more aware of what was happening in my conversations. And so as I often say, and this, I'm going to say the first person I heard say this was Reverend Patricia Keel, who I love, and I know she's spoken at this center and in this center. And she said there are 3 steps to spiritual growth: awareness, awareness, and awareness. Actually, she came to speak at what was then Awakened Living, and she said, my talk today is there are 3 steps to spiritual growth: awareness, awareness, awareness. That's my talk. Let's open it up for questions. I thought that is an act of courage right there. I don't know. is probably the greatest act of courage. And this is why this title came through for me, because being in the not knowing and being in the curiosity, to me, is a profound spiritual state. Because when my mind thinks it understands something, it automatically has limited an understanding. And so being in the curiosity actually allows us to expand. Another quote that emerged for me during, I think it was during the song or during the reading, this quote, and this is so incredible because when I read it maybe a decade ago, there was a shift within my consciousness. And the quote is this: relax, nothing is under control. And I love that, because what that quote means to me, and what it meant to me at the time, is that in the outer realm, or the realm of what we call relative reality, the conditions of the world, there isn't predictability. And yet many of us try to create predictability. The only predictability in relative reality is change, right? So sometimes we'll hear someone say the only constant is change. And yet that statement only lives in relative reality. In other words, the world is always changing. And the truth is, I don't know what's going to happen in the world today. I don't know what's going to happen in my world today. I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this talk. And that can actually bring anxiety for some people, because somewhere along the line, and I'm going to speak in the I felt so out of control. And the way I wanted to manage that was to create predictability in the world and in my life. The extreme end of that we call OCD. Everything needs to be in certain order so I can feel safe. For many of us, we might call that trying to control the outcomes, trying to control our relationships. And my question is, how's that working? What I want to speak to is the curiosity that we can live from, but the important thing is the foundation. When I recognize the foundational truth that what is predictable is our spiritual essence. The truth of who and what we are is not only predictable, it is constant, it is unchanging, it is unharmed and unharmable. Spiritual essence, that great reality within us, the abundance, God's self, essential beingness, all those different words we use for our spiritual essence is predictable, because love is who and what we are. And when I start with that foundation, then I recognize that the conditions of the world can change, but I don't get thrown by the conditions of the world. I can stay in this place of a greater reality and recognize, as Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith says, what we once thought was reality is illusion, and what we once thought was illusion is reality. What we see, what we touch, what we taste, those five senses, even though now they're saying there are many more senses than five, but those of us who have been trained to believe that's reality, what we can see is the truth. Once we understand that that's actually the illusion and the truth is the unchangeable beingness that we are, everything shifts. And so some of us might have an intellectual understanding of that. I myself have an intellectual understanding of that. And then there are times I have an experience of that. An experience of that is really different than a thought about that. Oh yeah, I understand that it's quite possibly a hologram. We are living in a profound time in the evolution of the species that is human. My friend Jessica says, we are spiritual mammals. I love that. We're spiritual mammals, right? There is something happening that's profound right now in our evolution, because what I'm noticing is science and spirituality are coming together and not necessarily coming to the same conclusions, but asking really similar questions. That's true science, and that's true spirituality. Not having the answer, but being curious about the question. So I want to dive into that a little deeper, because sometimes people believe that science is an answer. Boy, have we seen that in the last 2 years. Science tells me that this is true. Therefore, I must do that. And if you don't do that, you're a bad person. And I want to really be a little more transparent about some of this right now, because I think it's important for those of us who do have a platform, which by the way is all of us, we're all spiritual influencers, to speak to some things. We have been fed fear, and we have been fed fear for centuries, but it's being really elevated right now. And what is being used, the media, you know, Elon Musk, I think, posted this. He said, the news believes that it's supposed to report on the absolutely worst thing that's happening on planet Earth every single day. But that's not all the news. There are so many things happening at any given moment. And sometimes I think we might forget the miracle of life. If we just for a moment pause, maybe take a look at your hand. Isn't that a miracle? Take a deep breath and feel that air coming into your lungs, and take a moment and feel the beating of your heart. We are literally a miracle. The world is literally a miracle. The oceans, the mountains, the sky, it's all a miracle. And yet somehow a part of human consciousness is to feed the fear. And that's been happening more in the last couple of years than I've seen, certainly in my lifetime. It's always been there, but it's been pronounced. And what it has created was an intensification of the human ego. And so I want to share what I mean by that. Othering is at the root of conflict. And so we have been told by the media, if you believe this, you are in this camp. If you believe that, you are in that camp. We have been taught in the United States of America that we are a country divided, that we are polarized. And that is not my reality. And so when we tune into that frequency of fear, we will experience more of it. Sometimes it becomes so profoundly simple that I almost think, as Patricia Keel did, a talk could be one sentence. And that is, we create reality based on where we are putting our attention. Now, we all know that, right? We've all been in New Thought long enough to know that. We might even say, of course, that's true. Then we turn on the news and we say, oh, but that's true. Look, they're telling me that's true. I must be afraid. And then we create camps. If we look at human history, we have created literal camps and we send people to them. And in consciousness, the last 2 years, we've been doing that as well. And what I want to share about that is not, isn't it horrible that that's happening? What I want to share about is, isn't it phenomenal that we have an opportunity to wake up? Because as the ego gets intensified, spirit always wants to emerge. Spirit is always there. The analogy that we've all heard hundreds of times probably is, the sun is always shining, the clouds are merely covering them. It does not mean the sun is not there. It simply means that we can't see it or feel it because of the cloud cover. And so the cloud cover could be viewed as collective consciousness that tells us stories of good and bad and right and wrong and us and them. We must defend. We must take a side. We must automatically be against and pray for. So the workshop today is the audacity of oneness. And the reason I chose that title is that it is audacious, if you will, to actually recognize the oneness in the midst of the seeming division. And so as I talk about everything that's happened in the last 2 years in the media, that's only in relative reality. The truth is, we are all one. We're not a country divided. That is the hologram. And when we come together and collectively agree on the hologram, guess what? We create it. The greater reality is we are one. We are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual influencers. We are here to be love and to be light. And that's exactly how we work with the collective hologram. The collective hologram of, if you are in this political party, I must be against you. And there's nothing fundamentally wrong with that. But I want to invite some curiosity. What does it create when I believe that I'm different than someone living in a different state, watching a different news channel? This becomes profoundly simple and profoundly important, because what is always wanting to emerge and what is always emerging is life. You build a sidewalk over the earth, and the moment there's a crack in that sidewalk, the grass emerges. Life is always happening. Life is abundant. The only thing that limits it is my perception of what's happening. We literally have a choice in how we view the world. And as more and more of us come together and recognize, and really because we talked about choice earlier. And we talked about saying yes. But sometimes it's also starting with the sacred no. The sacred no is, no, I am not going to participate in a conversation about fear and division. I'm not going to pretend like what's happening in the world isn't happening. I'm simply going to recognize through the courage of curiosity. Because you know what? It does seem easier to take sides, doesn't it? It does feel safer, maybe, to find a tribe that believes like we do. Religion gets built around that. Political parties get built around that. Countries get built around that. I'm patriotic, right? That's an identity. It's an ego identity. And again, I want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with that. We've been doing that throughout human history, but guess what else we've been doing? Defending that and fighting for that. We have been looking back in a consciousness of competition, and perhaps we're not even aware of it. I have been shockingly aware of the language we use, battling with cancer, fighting for freedom. So going back to this idea that we are spirit mammals, as mammals, looking back, we have found our tribe to survive. Going back, tribes helped us actually literally stay alive. And now we're at a profound turning point, which is an opportunity, but not a guarantee. That we move beyond tribalism and into oneness. It's an opportunity because everything that happened in our world over the last 2 years, honestly, has been happening throughout human history. It was just pronounced in a very, I think, dramatic way. And I want to be clear, I'm not minimizing the pain of what people have gone through. Maybe you've lost someone. But here's the thing about this, and this is what I want to close with. Sometimes, Amy and I have talked about this, sometimes when we speak a greater reality than the conditions of the world, it doesn't appear to be compassionate. I've had people say to me, that's not very compassionate to say death is a part of the human experience. I actually think compassion is compassion for each of us, for the human condition and the spiritual condition. Having compassion for the journey that each of us is on, the journey toward enlightenment, which is simply recognizing that yes, the conditions of the world are happening, but only happening in relative reality. And as we tap into a greater reality and recognize that we are infinite beings, we can then be spiritual influencers of collective consciousness. We can start with the sacred no. No, I am choosing to not gossip today. I am choosing to not spend my precious spiritual energy on listening to a news story about division. I'm not going to listen to a podcast about separation. I am not going to read a book about fear. I am not going to, remember the old song, we're not going to study war no more? Conflict ends in this moment, and it ends by recognizing that peace is a greater reality than any division. And that as I have the sacred no to a conversation about division, an idea of division, and here's the bottom line, and this is really what I'm going to close with. Oneness starts within. I embrace all parts of me. I allow myself to feel the sadness and the joy. Through the courage of curiosity, I recognize if I have a preference for one of those. And if I have a preference for joy and I want to get rid of sadness, I will suffer, but only 100% of the time. And that's the great news, because the great news is as I embrace my own internal oneness, and I move beyond duality of this thought is good and this thought is bad, and I move into the courage of curiosity. See, curiosity isn't, I shouldn't be saying this because it's wrong. I shouldn't be watching the news because it's bad. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I want to be curious what gets created when I watch the news. How do I feel? How am I influencing the world when I take that in? And so sometimes people will say, an enlightened person can watch the news and not get hooked. That could be true. But I still go back to why on earth would I want to do that? Why on earth would I want to participate in anything other than love? It becomes so profoundly simple that perhaps there's really not words to describe this great mystery, as Native Americans use the term the great mystery. And in the Tao, they say once you describe the Tao, it's no longer the Tao. That's what we're talking about in the courage of curiosity. The courage of curiosity is to move beyond an idea that I need to know, and that I can be curious about all of it, asking myself the question, what gets created when I focus on love? What gets created when I literally own that I am a spiritual influencer? You can literally own that you are a spiritual influencer and that it is your purpose, your divine calling to be love in the world. Peace is at hand, and it happens right now by embracing all parts of me, or seeming parts of me, the mammal and the spirit, and embracing it as the greater reality. Everything else is a hologram. Life is a great experiment. I create the meaning in my life. So my final question for you is, are you willing to be curious about what you are creating today? And are you willing to say yes to being a spiritual influencer? So with that, I invite you to take a moment and move within as we anchor this in affirmative prayer. Taking a deep breath. I am so grateful to know that there is one power and one presence. This source energy that has so many names, and yet it is one. Infinite beingness, divine intelligence, God essence, spiritual beingness. This essence is the truth of my life, and it's the truth of every living creature, every living being on planet Earth and beyond. This is the ultimate reality. And because we have come together this morning to play in the field of infinite possibility, we recognize the shift in awareness. Love is who we are. Light is who we are. And so as we go out into the world, we say yes to being a spiritual influencer, influencing collective consciousness, feeling into the energy of that, feeling the lightness of that. What a gift. So with great gratitude, we release this now, knowing in the realm of spirit, it is already done. Love is. And so it is. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, TJ Woodward. So many beautiful reminders, and I know you embrace that that comment. Oh, wonderful! I particularly love the spiritual mammals. It's very cute. And I might use this spiritual influencers. I love that, because isn't that the truth? We are all spiritual influencers. Just another way to say that there's nothing that we're ever thinking, saying, or doing that isn't impacting the field, right? And so we're always influencing in every moment, and like, I think you said something like this, that could be like a lot of pressure, or it could be really simple and freeing. Yeah. Were you gonna say something? I was just thinking about I don't remember what month it was, but we recently had a theme, infinite possibilities. And this ultimate reality, this truth is that. And so this relative reality is really just like that cloud you mentioned that's in front of the sun, right? And so to tune into that field of infinite possibility, this courage of curiosity can be the means, the trail, to guide us there, and to stay open to this illusion, if you will, and kind of laugh sometimes. Was it the disappearance of the universe? I can't remember, but there's the holographic universe, I think. What is the name? There's a lot of books about this, and I remember initially when I was reading some of the stuff many years ago, I think it was the disappearance of the universe, and like it all being an illusion. It was like, it seems so far-fetched, and then over time, it's the reality for me. And so we get to play so much with that, and curiosity is such the tool.
Yes. Yeah, because it moves us into an openness about it. Just being curious if it's a hologram, that's that in itself. If we could for 72 hours take this spiritual challenge to say, I am going to be curious about this all being a hologram, because science is starting to point to it. Oh, it's possible that this is a hologram. And for some of us, that might be so disorienting. We go, but what are you talking about? So let's be curious. I'm not even saying it is a hologram, but I'm curious about that, and I'm curious about that. And as I'm curious about it, then I start to notice things that I didn't notice before. And then I start to become aware of things that I knew innately, but my mind wasn't able to grasp. I start to say, oh, wow.
Right. And so this is the energy, what we talk about, our energy or our vibration, our frequency, so when we start vibrating differently, then we start interacting with the world in a different way. And so that's why realities for people are so different, because
and they're all 100% correct. That's
right.
The greatest gift, right? Everyone is 100% correct in the way they view the world.
Absolutely.
There's freedom.
Exactly. Have you ever, one of my most profound moments was hearing my sister one time describe all of these things about our childhood. And I went, did we live the same household? We have the same parents? It was like such a different reality. Yeah. And it was so profound just in hearing
I recently did a training, and one of the clinicians in the training went to the director and said, TJ just said that we can change the past. And so on the break, the trainer said, or the director said, I'm sure you didn't say we can change the past. I said, oh yeah, I said we can change the past. And she was like, can you please explain that? I made decisions. The only place the past lives is in my mind. Right. And it lives in my mind. And we want to be careful, because we're not trying to minimize someone's experience. Like, I'm not saying to someone that didn't happen.
Right.
What I am saying is that I'm keeping it alive in my mind, not based on what happened, but what I decided about myself and the world about what happened. And when I understand that, I can start to have a different relationship. Like, if something happened to someone when they were 5, they didn't have the understanding, the intellectual understanding. So they created a meaning that was based in something that wasn't ultimate reality, right? That, especially a child, mom got mad at me, I must be bad, right? And so we might have a memory that mom thinks that I was bad or wrong. So we
Right.
can actually go back and start to look at it in a different way and
Right.
have like so much compassion for the 5-year-old, make some different decisions, and then the trajectory of our life changes instantaneously. So
Right.
yeah, we can change the past. So it's provocative, I know.
Well, you're provocative, so.
I do my best. I do my best.
Okay, let's check in with everybody. Hi, everybody. John says, I'm willing. And Karen says, me too. Bob
Yeah.
says, thanks, TJ. John says, music and harmony are supreme spiritual influencers. Yes, yes.
True.
Katie says, thank you, TJ. Hi, Katie. Pat says, Gary Renard, yes, the disappearance of the universe. That's the one I was talking about. And there's also another one about the holographic universe. And yes, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Any questions, any comments, any thoughts, any
I always say questions, comments,
snide remarks, any snide remarks. We take those too.
We'll take them.
Adds to the fun of this reality, this experience.
Right. Gosh, it's funny. I say that jokingly, but I think the greatest gift I could ever receive is someone disagreeing with me, because then it's like, oh, let me be curious about that, right?
Yeah.
Do I have any kind of reflective response? And if I
Right.
do, can I not go into the wrongness of that, right? It's
Right.
just interesting. It's like a rabbit hole we can go down. Oh, I noticed I wanted to defend myself. Oh, I noticed I judged that. Oh, let me be
Right.
present with that.
Yeah. Well, that's the awareness, right? Awareness. So once we really become aware, and that's really where so many shifts can happen, because I think you touched on this today, about when you have that moment of feeling something, like, just be curious. Where does that come from? Why do I want to replay the news over and over? Do I like that feeling? Really get curious about ourselves, because it always starts within, right? And so important, but awareness. Yes. Okay. Let's, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll pause there.
Kalyani says, right on. So many great gems here for these times. Love is indeed. We are miracles. Thank you, Reverend TJ. I'm enjoying the curiosity unfolding. Yes. Christy says, I have 600 students. I will contemplate on how to positively influence them in public school. Thanks, Christy.
Well, and I mean, let's pause for a moment there, because what a profound calling, right? And
yes,
I will often say to parents, because I've never been a parent, at least not in this incarnation, right? And I think it's so easy to be hard on ourselves, right? Because, it's like we are spiritual influencers, but we don't want to go into the shame about the times that, gosh knows, I've gossiped a lot in my life. And I didn't stop gossiping because I'm such a great person. I stopped gossiping because it started becoming so painful that I couldn't live that way anymore. Right. And when I think about someone who has said yes to the calling of a teacher, I just want to say, just gratitude for saying yes to that calling, those little angels, right? And we are being influencers at every moment. And I think about the teacher, and thinking about one in particular who saw me. She didn't even say anything. She just held space for me. And I remember feeling loved by her, feeling seen by her, right? And she was a spiritual influencer in my life, simply by being open and not going into a conclusion about me. We go into conclusions about kids so much, right? We give them diagnoses. We tell them they have behavioral issues. Oh, why aren't they living up to their potential? All the weight of that. And sometimes it's just, let me behold the miracle that you are, you little beautiful spiritual mammal.
Yeah, right. With all your facets and however they show up.
Right.
Oh, Pat says, such a grace that we can do that. Changing the past. Yeah. Wonderful. Yes, exactly. Christy. I think maybe Jan replied to that. I know there's a few of us that are admins on the Brentwood Inspired Living Center, so sometimes it comes in. It's probably Jan or Kathy or me or TJ. Oh, beloveds, thank you for being with us today and sharing in this space. If you feel gratitude for inspired, nourished by our community, please consider visiting our giving page on our website. That is brentwoodilc.org. Our center is 100% supported by your sacred exchange of love and appreciation and gratitude. And we are deeply appreciative of this of all contributions, which enable us to continue sharing value and touching lives and reaching out. And life is made up of these energetic exchanges, right? And these are actually what create our reality, or how we celebrate, how we show appreciation, how we express our gratitude. And so, so thank you. Thank you for participating in this energetic exchange with us. It's important and it energizes us to continue radiating out. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We are going to close with the prayer of divine awakening, which I'm going to put on the screen right now so that we all can speak it out loud and hold it, affirm it for our lives. So it should be on the screen. I think it is. The prayer of divine awakening. It's a new day, a beautiful day, a new beginning. I embrace this day with new eyes, an open heart, and expansive mind. I choose my vibrational frequency deliberately and consciously, harmonizing with life's events. I am receptive to source energy, divine guidance and wisdom available to me at all times. I commit to serve unconditional love fully and completely. I move forward in a state of appreciation and extension of the one magnificent power and presence. I am sovereign, whole, and free, claiming dominion over my life as I go in peace and awaken to my divinity. And so it is. Blessed be, beloved. Shine on, bright ones. We love you. We appreciate you. Tune into the workshop right now. Well, you have 12 minutes, so get a little nourishment and join us back on the link, which is on our homepage, brentwoodilc.org, and I'm going to drop it here in the feed. Mwah! I love you. Thank you, TJ, for being with us. We love you. Appreciate you.
Everyone.
Blessings, everybody.